Good day, everyone. This is Lori with Micro Accounting. Welcome to our webinar today. Today we have our friends at Nuvei, who were previously called Paya, who were previously called Sage Payment Solutions. So they've gone through a few different name changes, but still our preferred partner when it comes to payments and taking payments from your customers, fully integrated with Sage 100. I know that we've had a little trouble logging in to go to webinar today. Hopefully the troubles are behind us, and hopefully all of you got connected without too much of an issue. But if anything happens during the webinar, please bear with us, as we know there's a little bit of technical stuff going into it. We are going to do, there's a mix between PowerPoint presentation and demo today. So our friends at Nuvei, we've partnered, Micro Accounting has partnered with Nuvei for many years now. We have probably hundreds of clients on their solution at this point, which ranges, all of which we'll talk about today, ranges from just standard credit card processing, taking credit card payments from your clients, to ACH payments, to a whole customer portal. And then one of their newest offerings is really an AR financing option. So if you needed some additional cash flow and you wanted to kind of get a upfront cash investment on that, on your AR, on your outstanding aging, that is also a service. But I am going to let our friends at Nuvei talk to you more about that, because that's what the webinar is today. We do have all the lines muted, but we do want questions, so please type those into the question panel on GoToWebinar, and then we will answer those at the end. We'll have a Q&A, so we'll make sure that all of those get answered at the end. But please feel free to type those in as you're going along, and I will monitor that. We have Kimberly Roma and Brandy with Nuvei today that are going to be doing the majority of the presentation will be Brandy. Kim will be doing the kind of some intros, and then she'll kind of circle back at the end as well, and then I'll tie things up at the very end. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hush and pass it over to our friends at Nuvei, because they are, as I said, they're our partner in payments, and they really are the knowledge source there. So anything and everything, we rely on them. And so we want to bring that wealth of knowledge and information to you. And this does fully integrate with Sage 100 and Sage Intacct, Sage Intacct being our cloud solution. So I know we have a mix of clients on the call today on both of those solutions. So this is applicable to both of you. However, when we get into some of the demos, Brandy may be showing maybe a part in Sage 100, it would be similar in Sage Intacct. So she'll kind of talk as we're doing the demos, but it does work with both solutions, Sage 100 and Sage Intacct. So with that, I think, Kim, you're going to kind of kick things off from here. So I'm going to pass it to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lori. We are so happy to be here with you all today, and a big thank you to our partner, Micro Accounting, who we've worked with for many, many years. And we're thrilled to show you some of our new products today and just the additional functionalities that our team continues to develop. I'm Kimberly Roma. I'm the partner account manager dedicated to Micro Accounting and their clients. And Brandy Wilson is also on the line. She's our director of ERP products for Sage 100 and Intacct. So we are part of the core team that works with Micro Accounting and their clients as you guys are making your journey through your payment solutions. Nuvei, Lori kind of touched on this. Nuvei, formerly known as Paya, originally part of Sage, is a global leader in payment solutions. We provide powerful tools to help streamline and automate your accounts receivable processes, simplify payment acceptance, and enhance cash flow management for businesses. And that's what we're going to kind of walk through today. Brandy, if you don't mind, go to the next slide. We'll talk a little bit about what the journey looks like for you when you are partnering with Nuvei. This kind of outlines a step-by-step process for implementing your Sage 100 and Intacct solutions. We start in the application and pricing with a dedicated sales manager leading the team to ensure a successful start right from the beginning. We look and we dig into an analysis and have a demo that's tailored to your business needs and solutions and pain points. An ERP specialist analyzes your needs. They demonstrate how the solution can actually improve and be more efficient for you. Our installation and configuration is led by an engineer who's assigned to handle your setup and configuration. We have following that education and training one-on-one, again, by our enablement teams and our engineers. They are providing the staff training to ensure smooth adoption of the platform so that you're ready for your go live. And even beyond that, with the ongoing support, we have a team who assists and just continues throughout your entire the lifespan of your account. So this process, it really ensures a smooth transition. It's effective. You have support throughout each of the stages, and we really find that it's the best way to get you up and moving. And then now I'll hand it over to Brandy Wilson.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, guys. My name is Brandy. I am a director of ERP product here at Nuvei, which really is just a fancy way of saying I work with our payments people to make sure that when they want to do something payments-wise, it really makes sense inside of the ERP. In my department, we say we are ERP first and payment second, which really means that, you know, we have our experts in Sage 100 and Sage Intacct kind of telling the payments people, this is how we need the data to flow, or this is how we need the process flow to work. And so it just makes sure that you have a really seamless operation into your Sage 100 or your Sage Intacct system for taking your payments. So when we talk about integrated payments, a lot of times that comes out like a buzzword, integrated. What does that really mean? For those of you who don't know, because we started our life as Sage Payment Solutions, an actual division of Sage, our integrations are fully integrated and distributed by Sage. So everything that you need to process with a Nuvei account already exists within your Sage 100 system, and therefore it's really, I mean, for real, embedded into your Sage 100 or your Sage Intacct system. And just as an example, I have a cash receipt entry up here where you can see there's actually a payment tab. And if we look down into that payment tab, you can actually see where we can enter credit card information. We can actually process that credit card or ACH account for the cash receipt that we're doing. So this is all directly within Sage 100. We never have to leave. So the great part about that is, again, we're taking care of all of the accounting side. We're letting Sage do what Sage does best, but we're bringing in all of that payment functionality without making you leave the system at all. When we talk about, you know, the pieces of that puzzle, you can save customer payment information. That's going to be credit card or ACH. And that's going to be, you know, ACH in the sense of an e-check. So it's just a routing number and a account number. We're not doing true NACHA ACH there. So it's all online using an e-check. And you can use those vaults or do payment entries on the fly directly within all of the transactions that you would expect. So that payment tab that we see in the screenshot here, that's going to be available in AR invoicing. It's going to be available in your cash receipts. In sales order, you can actually pre-authorize or take deposits against orders, as well as make payments against your sales invoices. So all of this flows through way that's going to make sense to Sage, but also to you guys. There's no new system to learn because it's really all there within the systems that you're already using, within the screens that you're already using. And then, of course, because we're working directly in Sage, we've got all of those GL postings, and all of that happens as a part of the general processing that you're used to seeing. And just by way of kind of demonstrating what we've got here, I do want to just pull up, I'm just going to pull up AR invoice data entry for you so that you guys can see that screen where we've got that payment entry. And I just realized that, there it goes. So if I just do a new batch here, I just want to show you guys, if I enter a new payment, or I'm sorry, a new invoice for this customer, since it's Halloween, let's sell them some tricks. So when I come over to my totals tab, of course, I have some extra things here. We'll talk about click to pay in just a second, but I can actually come over to my payment tab. And what this is going to give me is the ability to actually process a payment against a credit card or an ACH account. Now, I can either do that kind of ad hoc. So I can say, hey, I have a new credit card that they want to give me. The other thing that I can do is if this customer has given me a card to keep on file, I may actually have that available to me here. So I can actually come in here, notice that it's going to fill in that card information. we're fully PCI compliant. Sage 100 doesn't store any full credit card account data or anything like that. It's just a token that we can send to the gateway and go ahead and process. And we can see where that process is through. Now, one thing that you're going to see us talk about a little bit is this fee recovery. I do have the ability to charge a fee recovery if need be on my credit cards or my ACHs. So it's a great way to kind of charge the customer a processing fee to help you recoup some of the fees that you incur by offering credit card as an option. So that is a piece of our commerce suite, and we will talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But you can see here, I can actually go ahead and submit this card. It's going to go ahead and pop up what we call Paya Connect Desktop, which is just the connector between Sage 100 and the gateway. And sometimes it takes a second. I am on a test server, so I apologize if it's a little slow. We may not wait for it. But what this would do is essentially send this information to the gateway. I do not have to have a CVV, that's not required. And the gateway is going to go ahead and process that transaction and then come back with information about the authorization and the transaction ID. So you can see where that populates directly inside of my screen. Now, when I update this, it's going to update both the invoice itself as well as the payment against it. So we're actually going to update this invoice with a 0 balance because we have paid the total using that saved credit card, that Visa ending in 1111. So it is just a great way to kind of really quickly and easily process payments. Again, that can be in cash receipts, it can be in your sales orders or directly within your invoices as well. So let's talk about some of the new offerings that we have for you guys. AR financing is something that, kind of gets confused sometimes with AR factoring. So there are sort of 2 ways that you can increase your cash flow while, leveraging the AR that you already have. So we have partnered with a company called Conmon. They are very, very big in the kind of short-term lending against your AR industry. And essentially what they do is they give you the ability to qualify and apply for short-term loans against your accounts receivable. And what this really allows you to do is kind of bridge the gap of, let's say we have a seasonal business and we need to kind of finance our AR in order to get through the slow season. Totally fine. Additionally, if we get an order from a big box store, it's going to be a large order. We're going to have to place our own large orders, but maybe because they're a big box store, they have very, very long terms. And we can't wait 90 days to get paid because we have to pay our vendors for whatever it is that we're providing to this big box store. Borrowing against the value of the AR can be a great way to do that. And we're generally talking about 60 to 90-day loans, sometimes 30 if you're really just looking for a short term there. And the fees are all accounted for within your accounting. So the great part is, just like we talked about with integrated payments, this is all going to be directly in your Sage 100 or Sage Intact system. And you can see here where we're actually doing the source journaling for you. So you can see where we did a loan for $22,2085 here. They advanced us 95% of that. So I got an advance of $21.54. And then there was the fee that is automatically calculated right at the outset. So I know exactly what that fee is going to be when I ask for the loan. Conmon's going to put that into my system automatically. It is going to deposit directly into my bank account, and then it is also going to deduct out of my bank account at the end of that loan term. And again, we're going to make sure that we pull that amount out, and we're going to make sure to pay off that loan payable within your GL. So the distinct advantage of using Conmon with the Nuvei system is that we are going to handle all of that gap accounting for you, which most systems are not going to be able to do. Of course, you can finance your AR or do short-term loans there, have a line of credit, but you have to handle the accounting yourself. This allows to associate that short-term line of credit with a particular AR invoice and then track that through and make sure that that's all getting taken care of with the GL. Now let's talk a little bit about Commerce Suite, especially for my Sage 100 people. Having an online option for your customers to kind of do some self-service is a game changer. More and more customers want to control their data. They want to do things on their own time. They don't want to have to call your office and give a credit card. Our Commerce Suite is a suite of products that allows you to kind of expand beyond just simple payments and really start letting your customers own their accounts a little bit. The AR automation piece of that is really going to help make it easier to manage your AR. If you have a small AR team, things like collections and sometimes even billing, taking calls from customers when they want to look at account history, those things really take up a lot of time, and time is money. And so each time your AR team has to do that, it's costing you more money. Using our AR automation, we're going to, number one, automate the connection between Sage 100 and the online portal. That means as you enter invoices or sales orders, we're automatically sync those into the online area so that customers can see those. You can provide your customers a link where they can actually, on their own time, access that link or use a full account portal to pay those invoices or just review them. And, ultimately, we want to make it easy for them to pay because then you're not fighting with them for collections. And collections is such a huge time suck for smaller teams. You've got to analyze every account. You've got to do your aging. You've got to do statements. You've got to do an email out to the customer where, you detail out what they need to pay and what's past due. We can actually help automate a lot of that using our notification system. So we'll take a look at how this system can really help you kind of get a grasp on all of this. So how does it work? We make it as easy as possible. So really there's 4 pieces that go into this. Number one, you're going to be inside of Sage 100 or Sage Intacct, and you are going to be doing everything that you already do. You're going to generate those invoices. You're going to generate those sales orders. As a part of that save process that you do when you post those, we are actually going to generate anonymous links, and we're going to link all of that information up to an online portal. Customers can use the anonymous link to pay without logging in, or they can have a full-on portal where they can see everything to do with their account. You can control that brand experience. You can control what customers are allowed to do in the portal, and you can allow customers to, kind of manage their accounts in a way that they've never been able to do on their own before. And then just to make sure we close the circle for you, as soon as the customer pays, regardless of which method they use, we're going to bring that back into Sage for you so that all of those postings are already done. So let's take a look at kind of what this all means and how it all works together. So as a customer, when we want to enable that customer for the Commerce Suite, essentially all we have to do is take our existing customer, and under the More button, there are Paya options. And this is where we are going to tell the system, hey, these are the things that this customer wants to sync. So invoices, finance charges, the FC type charges that happen within Sage 100 that aren't real invoices, those can be uploaded. Sales orders, sales quotes, along with things like credit memos and prepayments as well. And we'll take a look at that. So customers can actually control their credit application as well. We also have the ability to restrict payment types. So when a customer calls you on the phone and says, I want to pay via credit card, you of course have the ability to gatekeep that and say, I'm sorry, customer, you have chargebacks in the past, so we are not going to accept any credit card payments from you. You can actually do that same process here and restrict the credit card option so that only ACH is available to that customer. So we're always going to make sure that you will have ultimate control over how customers can interact. Now, how this works, honestly, is incredibly easy. So as I enter transactions for my Brandy customer, and let's go ahead and do a sales order invoice. As I enter transactions for that customer, everything that needs to happen for the Commerce Suite is going to happen, as I go through. If my invoice data entry decides to open here, We'll give it just a second. Sorry about that. There it goes, just a little slow. So if I select my Commerce Suite customer and I go ahead and do my normal entry process. So I'm just going to sell them a couple printer stands. We're going to go ahead and go over to the totals tab. You're going to see some new fields here. So you can see I have a checkbox that says click to pay. That means I am going to send this up to the portal. So essentially, all I have to do is anything that I normally do. I can put in my freight, I can do all of that. As soon as I hit accept, the Commerce Suite is going to kick in and start the process of syncing this up to the online piece. I'm actually going to use the send to click to pay just so that it doesn't close out my screen. And essentially what's going to happen is we are going to save this invoice. This invoice is going to be PDF'd using your Crystal report form, and that PDF will be uploaded to the Commerce Suite portal. In addition to that, the Commerce Suite is going to issue us that anonymous link. So the anonymous link is not really anonymous. It obviously knows which customer is associated with it and all of that good stuff, but it is going to allow the customer to make payment without having to log in. And so we can see down here at the bottom, it says click here for the click to pay link. That green check mark means that this invoice has been successfully synced. Now you can use Paperless Office to notify your customer of this link and give them a pay now button. You can also rely on the Commerce Suite to send those emails out for you. So you can do that either way. Embedded in Sage, you have, of course, Paperless Office. Inside of Intact, there is a native print and email system. But if you don't love those systems, and some people don't, you can rely on notifications from the Commerce Suite itself to send your customer these links. So what do these links do? These links are your customer's ability to pay this invoice. So if I bring this over here, you can see I have a logoed payment page. This is what we call the anonymous payment page. Note that the customer does not need to log in order to pay. They can just click pay here, but it has all of the information about that invoice that we just generated. It has the balance. If we had a partial payment against that, we would see that posted against the balance. We have the original PDF document, and we have all of the customer. So I, as the customer, can click pay here, and I'm going to be taken to a payment page where I can see all of that data that I can enter as far as my ACH or my credit card account and billing information. Now, if your customers want to have a little bit more account management, maybe pay more than one invoice at a time, because this is a link that's dedicated to this particular invoice, they do have the ability to set up an account inside of Click to Pay. And so from here, we do have the ability to tell the system, this customer is allowed to have an account, and that account is going to show them everything to do with you and your account with them. So we can see invoices. Again, we can see credit memos and prepayments. Note that the customer cannot refund themselves, but they could come through and use that credit to offset balances. So they can absolutely apply those credits however they see fit, and they can process multiple invoice payments at the same time from this screen. So we can see where we can click begin payment. We do have that processing fee, which we can calculate against the customer's transactions if we need to. And because we are logged into a portal, customers have the ability to save their card or ACH information. So it's going to go ahead and let them process that really quickly and easily directly within the system. So the idea of the portal is to let your customers see their entire account with you, be able to manage payments, be able to historically look up payment information, and also see a breakdown of what they owe you in any of the different transactions that you may be updating for them. And of course, like we talked about, all payments that run through the portal are going to come back into Sage 100. And we do have a couple of ways that that happens, but ultimately, I'm just going to show you real quick. We do have a payment screen where I can actually see real time what the payments are that my customers have processed. And we're going to make sure that we can bring those into cash receipts and kind of close that loop for you. So I can see all of those customer payments that have come through. I can drill down into them to see the individual invoices, and I know exactly what the customer has paid. So we're going to make sure that Sage 100 is fully updated. I'm going to throw it back to Kim to kind of wrap us up here. I know we're coming up on time, but we wanted to make sure you had time for questions too.
Thanks, Brandy. So lots of information, and most importantly, kind of looking at when we automate your processes, what's in it for you. So just a little bit of a high level, 3 key areas where you're going to see benefits of our solution for your business. You'll see accelerated business growth with an improved customer experience, which is going to lead to more repeat business. The customer self-service options, the scheduled payments, extended ERP functionality. You'll see an improvement with your operating margins through back office efficiencies, reducing manual payments, enhancing PCI compliance, enabling customer self-service, and automating reconciliations. And then you shorten your days sales outstanding and improve working capital. So essentially faster cash flow through flexible payment options, automation of time-consuming tasks, reduced need for collection reminders, and a full ERP integration to minimize errors and enhance tracking. These benefits, they all aim to boost customer satisfaction, streamline operations, and optimize your cash flow. And with that, Lori, should I hand it back over to you for any questions we might have?
Sure, I will take it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Kim. We have had a couple questions come in, but this is a quick reminder. If you can type your questions into the panel, we will go ahead and get those answered. So the first question that we had come in is, can we choose which customers can use the portal?
Absolutely. So one of the things that you have the ability to do is to turn off the ability for a customer to automatically be able to create their own account from their anonymous links. As the merchant, you can actually choose which customers you'd like to create an account for and send them their credentials instead of allowing them to create their own accounts. And it's very, very simple. It's a 2-minute process. And that means that you can allow your larger customers, let's say, to have an account where they can manage, but then all of the other customers are really kind of locked into using the anonymous links in order to make those payments.
Perfect. Next one is, can we use this to process credit cards on our website? So I think that's kind of a loaded question. I'm going to answer some of that, and then Brandy and Kim, if you want to add to it as well. So Nuvei does integrate with several applications that we offer that offer website shopping carts. Nuvei themselves are not a website shopping cart. However, they do, I mean, you get a merchant ID to process credit cards. So if you have a system outside of Sage that you wanted to process credit cards for, they do offer the full offering there. So I mean, if you want stripes, if you want, the slides, the chips, all the different things to take credit cards, it just wouldn't necessarily be integrated with Sage solutions, depending on how you were doing that. So we might need to have a larger conversation with you to understand what you're trying to do. But at their core, they do take those payments regardless of, it happens to be integrated very nicely with Sage, but if you needed to do it outside, they can do that as well. Brandy, Kim, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, Lori, that was pretty perfect. Basically, we do the gateway side processing. So we do have shopping carts that will use us for what we call back-end processing, meaning you put in your Paya or Nuvei credentials, and your shopping cart would use that account to go ahead and process the cards or the ACH transactions. However, there is sort of a third component here that Lori sort of alluded to, and that is, how do we then get that payment data back into Sage? And there are partners that we work with on that type of integration. So absolutely, it is 100% doable. But like Lori said, it is definitely kind of a larger conversation, and we're more than happy to help you guys with that.
Perfect. We have 2 more questions. The next one is, can we send the invoice with a link to pay without access to the portal? And I think that's a yes, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. You can send the link with just that anonymous link access, and they do not have to have a portal account to do that.
Okay. And then the next one is, can we use this for our counter sales? and I know the client who's asking this happens to be a Sage 100 client using Sage 100 as at your counter. So yes, you can use that as your, it would integrate fully. So if you're standing there taking the clients coming in to purchase something, you can certainly enter the credit card information, or there are supported devices that you could use with Sage 100 to capture that data. I don't know, Brandy, do you know anything about the exact devices that they could use, like if they wanted to swipe a card or something like that at a counter that would integrate with Sage?
Yeah, so there are sort of two options when it comes to that. We have what we call swipers, which are essentially connected to your workstation, and they basically read the magnetic stripe on the back of the card. So the customer would actually hand you the card, you would swipe it, it would collect the information and run it into Sage. The other option would be EMV terminals. So those are your kind of more your retail terminals like we're all used to seeing, where you can put your chip in or swipe it or tap it. Those are handled a little bit differently, but we absolutely support them. I don't know off the top of my head the gateway devices that are enabled for that, but definitely we do allow that, and we have several devices that we can use for that.
Okay, perfect. Do we have a contact slide after this slide?
I believe that we do.
If you can advance that forward real quick. So that was our last question. So we will have our account management team follow up with each of you that attended the webinar today to see if you have any additional questions. In the meantime, or if you want to reach out directly to us, you want to talk sooner than later, you can email any of us personally on the account management team, or if you're not sure who your account manager is, or you just want to email the whole team to have the first person grab it, you can send it to the amteam@microaccounting.com. That will go to the group of us, and then we will get back with you. Thank you all for joining us today. Kim and Brandy, thank you for the presentation. And with that, we're just a couple minutes over, but thank you guys for giving us the extra time. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Lori.